Sometimes you see something and you just have to ask, where's the line between doing your job and just promoting yourself? Well, we're diving into a case that's a perfect storm of that very question. It all starts with a big banner and a simple but very sharp question.
How about dito po sa mga airport sa Cebu? Nandito po yung mukha nyo, welcoming the tourists
That's actually not an airport in Cebu. That, I believe, is in Boracay.
in Boracay.
Yes.
So instead po ng picture, like I said,
Yes,
nothing
yes.
personal with you, Mama. Instead na, sabi ko kanina, personality, ba't di na lang tayo maglalagay ng mga lugar na pwedeng puntahan na para, like I said kanina, for the end time, maingganyo yung mga tao na, sige, pupunta ko, ang ganda niyan. Di ba parang sa ibang lugar, tulad sa Dubai, if I go to other countries, sa airport pa lang nila, may kita mo nun sa walls yung mga lugar na pwede pupuntahan na you're being invited to go to that place.
And this is the question. Right here. Boom. Just like that, a totally normal promotional event blew up into this huge national debate about branding and accountability. This question was pointed directly at the Philippines Tourism Secretary, Cristina Garcia Frasco. And boy, did it set things off.
That photo was taken at the time when we held the Philippine Experience Program in South Cotabato.
So bakit hindi na lang po model na taga roon mismo, native po sa lugar na yon, nakilala sa lugar na yon? Why you?
That photo was taken during my presence at the
Yes, ma'am,
South
I know, I
Cotabato.
understand.
Yes.
We don't have any fight on that matter. What I'm trying to say is, someone who's recognized in that community, in that place, yung kilala, kunyari, miss kung anong bansa, ano bang lugar po yan?
That's Lake Cebu.
Cebu. Oh, how about
Lake Cebu. Yes.
Lake Cebu in Cebu?
In South
And
Cotabato.
so, how about Miss Cotabato instead of you? Nakilala sa lugar na yan.
So let's set the scene here. Picture this. You've got this massive banner, right? It's supposed to be all about getting you excited for Boracay. One of the country's most beautiful spots. You're expecting to see white sand, crystal clear water, but nope. The biggest thing on the tarp is the face of the tourism secretary. So pretty quickly, people started asking, hang on a second, why are we promoting the person in charge instead of, the actual place?
So the first official defense that came out was that it's all a matter of visibility and performance. Okay, that was the justification. But as we're about to break down, that explanation, well, it started to fall apart pretty fast.
Right, so this is the big question. Are we talking about visibility for the country, or is it just vanity? The analysis we're digging into here argues that this whole defense kind of misses the entire point of tourism promotion. In fact, it suggests there are two totally different kinds of visibility we need to talk about. And here they are, side by side. On one hand, you have actual tourism promotion. That's about the places, the culture, the people who live and work there. Simple enough. But on the other hand, you have what our source calls ego marketing. And that's just about making sure you remember the name and face of the person in charge. It's a pretty stark contrast, right?
This whole ego marketing thing leads us to a really important idea, the vanity metric. So what's that? It's basically any number or measurement that looks great on the surface but doesn't actually mean anything for real success. So for example, how big your face is on a tarp, that's a vanity metric. How many tourists actually showed up? Now that's a real performance metric. One is about looking good, the other is about doing good. And this is such a powerful way to put it. Oof, that really hits, doesn't it? It basically says you're turning a public service role into a personal branding campaign, and you're using taxpayer money to do it.
Okay, but wait, there is more. This story didn't stop with that first defense. There was a second one, and this is where things get even trickier. We're shifting gears now from branding to something else entirely, accountability.
I have no national ambition. I'm not running for any national position. And therefore, any accusation of self-promotion would fall flat because I am not running for any national position in 2028. And therefore, there would be no reason for me to promote myself. As I recall, the product of the PPP was launched last year. And I'm told that this tarpaulin was put up because I was supposed to have arrived at the inauguration of this PPP project. But another urgent matter came up here in Manila, and hence I was not able to to attend. That is the reason why that welcome tarpaulin is there. But I did not direct the putting up of that tarpaulin, but the reason why it's there is because they put it up as a welcome sign at the launch of the PPP project to improve the ticketing of Boracay. Nonetheless, when this matter was brought to light, we actually already ordered all of our regional offices, including Region 6, to take down any offending material, as the case may be, or any material that bears my image. But at the end of the day, I believe that this is a matter of visibility and performance.
And here are the exact words. See what's happening there? It's an attempt to put some space between herself and the banner. The vibe is, hey, this was a surprise to me too. Someone else did this. But the analysis we're looking at argues this defense just doesn't fly, and it breaks it down into 4 key reasons. First, you've got the problem of authority without accountability. I mean, if you're the boss, doesn't the responsibility ultimately stop with you? Second, there's just the implausibility of it all. A giant, professionally made banner like that doesn't just poof, appear out of thin air. Third, there's the idea of consent by just being there. If you saw it and didn't have it taken down, doesn't that kind of mean you're okay with it? And finally, what's the real story here? What's the subtext? And the conclusion from the source is that this isn't about humility or being surprised. It's a very specific strategy, and it has a name: plausible deniability. It's a classic political move, right? You get to enjoy all the benefits of the visibility, but if it backfires, you can just say, hey, wasn't me, and let someone else take the heat. And really, this whole strategy of plausible deniability brings us to the biggest and maybe the most important question of all. It's all about accountability. In public service, who is ultimately responsible? Where does the buck actually stop? And this is maybe the sharpest insight in the whole analysis. That excuse, it doesn't really say, I didn't order it. What it's really saying is, I liked it enough not to stop it. Wow, that's a completely different message, isn't it? It's not a denial, it's a kind of passive confession. So here's the bottom line. When the person promoting the thing becomes more visible than the thing itself, especially when it's funded by our taxes, a really important line has been crossed. This isn't about promoting tourism anymore. It's just self-promotion, paid for by the public. So that's the big question we're left with, and it's one for you to think about. When does public promotion stop being about the public and start becoming personal advertising at the taxpayer's expense? It's something to keep in mind the next time you see a politician's face on a billboard or a banner. Thanks for tuning in.